Hey people, just wanted to bring you another video. I do apologize, first of all, for not being able to release the content for episode 5 of the game plan series. Just a quick video that I want to put out here quickly. I've been busy in the development phase of the robot, and now I'm moving over into the production phase of the robot. So the robot, if you're not too sure what I'm talking about, I've been developing an algorithm, based on just hearing from people in my circle, a lot of people asking to trade for me or to pass a prop firm challenge for them. And just a lot of people who want to get into trading, but they don't have the time and they want to have a system that they can still access the market and have the benefits of it without having to necessarily learn. Now, I'll be honest, it took me a while to agree to doing that because I've always been the staunch guy that you must learn to trade, you must learn the markets. And I've learned to understand over time that, there are many ways to solve the needs of people, and you can't kind of force everyone to be a trader and learn to trade because not everybody wants to and has to. Okay, and that's not how the world works. So I developed the algorithm. If I share my screen here, over 1,400 lines of code. Still got a few more things that I'm adding just to make the UI UX better. So I have a few things over here for keyboard settings, just if you want to control the keyboard, the EA manually, and just have a little bit more stuff going on there. So you guys will see that in the days to come. But my focus really is on the actual results. So I'll go through it. So it was on a $10,000 demo account, and you can see the results here. We have about 18% profit. Okay, if I go to the actual results here, we can look at each trade one by one. So if I scroll this up so that you can see this here, you'll see the results. So starting off with the first trade here. So we have our first trade modified according to the algorithm, stop loss, take profit set in place and everything like that. If we look at the first two trades, so we had 2 losses over here, quickly recovered with a few trades. Now these trades over here, if you see trades that were modified and then stop losses here, take profit is somewhere here, the algorithm is designed to make sure that it takes precautions when it's about to take a trade. So some of the trades, if you see them taken, okay, and then after there's no trade there, either that at break even or it was closed because of the system of thought that the algorithm has been programmed to achieve. So if you look down here, we can see the balance progression. So we had a gain of 517, okay, after the 2 losses here. Then we had another 2 losses, and in fact, another one, 3, okay. And then we came back very quickly at 23 and 24 with 2 gains. Now, at this point right here, this is 24. Now, if I go by dates, this is from the 1st of March 2023. So recent results. Okay. What we have, if I go down to this part over here, which is the 10th. So within 9 days, you would have hit 10%. Now, for most prop firm challenges, you're looking at about 10% profit as a target. Okay, that's usually the range that you're going for. Some ask for 8, some ask for 5%. So within the first 9 days of using this algorithm on a funded account, you would have passed your challenge. If I move further down and I go over to the next day, you can see now we're on the 13th. So the week afterwards, you would have opened up with even more profit at 16%. Now, of course, you can see that the risk management here is accurate. The market, no matter how volatile or not volatile it is, I made sure that I programmed the algorithm to have as much control over risk and reward as possible. So the next trade that we see down here, you can see we had a loss of $131, and that took us down to 14%. And then we had, after this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now the settings on this specific robot, when I ran it on the strategy tester, is for it to be running in normal mode with a few slight optimizations. Okay, but if you run this robot as I ran it, there's one setting that I left on, which is called auto close. when hit profit target. As straightforward as it sounds, that's exactly what it does. So if you set your profit target to be 10% for you to pass your prop firm challenge, when it hit the 10% mark, it would have closed on the 9th day. If you're trading normally, it would have just continued. And of course, there are more specific settings for those of you who are actually traders and more advanced and want to have a bit more specific settings for your taste. You can definitely run that, but so far so good. Now moving forward onto, now we're at the 20th here, so a couple of days afterwards, we can see we've gone down to 12%, then we're down by 11%, then we're down by 9.6%, but we're still in profit. Now, if you notice with the Eurobot, it continues to trade. It takes its time. It took 2 trades on the one on the 14th, and then we had another one on the 15th here. And you notice that for the other days, the robot didn't actually make any trades. Okay, it took a break. And the reason why the robot would take a break, in the optimization settings, you can actually set how many maximum daily loss, or you can set the maximum number of trades. Now, if you're a prop firm person, then the maximum number of trades you want to take wouldn't be as important as the amount of loss, because again, it's the evaluation stage. And even when you're a live trader funded, you still need to follow quite a specific set of rules. Now, when you're trading normally, you know, the sky's your limit in a sense. Obviously, you can't go crazy with risk because it's still important, but at least you have a little bit more freedom. Okay. Now, moving forward here, you can see that we took a consecutive amount of losses. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. And then immediately after, we came back here with some massive gains. Okay, we've covered almost all of our losses and brought ourselves back to a good position. So from the first loss we took at 11,480 with just one trade here at 593, we've come all the way back to 11,555. Now we took another loss, another 2 losses here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 7, and then here's the 8th one. So we had a consecutive loss of 8. Now, again, I told you that the settings were not put on optimization, because on a normal prop firm account, if you took a loss of 10%, even if you're in profit, there's something called an account stop loss that will stop you out at 10%. However, the settings, I didn't switch those settings on because it would have, in natural trading setting, would have switched it off after 2%, which is usually my go-to anyway, or after 2 trades at 1%. Okay. Now, moving forward from here, you can see that the robot got back down to 10,540. And immediately, again, we came with 2 lovely trades, which brought us right back to where we started from. Took some more losses here, as you can see. So this is pretty natural trading. Now, the algorithm, I designed it, and there will be other ones that I'll design, high-speed algorithms, scalping algorithms, but I wanted to actually make something that's a solid system, because again, remember, trading is about being solid in the systems that you create. So I wanted to make sure I had something that was solid, which was clean, which was clear, and something that it was relatable to everybody. Okay, the normal trading experience, you're not going to win every single trade. Now, if you've seen my Instagram, you see me do maybe account flips where I turn like £50 to 300 and something in 2 days, and then I withdraw the proof to show you guys that it actually was real money into my account. I've done that before. If you check my Instagram, the Real Money Mics, I have done that video before, and I've done it many times after that. But I wanted to make something that's a sustainable system, which is a good representation of trading. I've been through a lot of bad experiences with trading and good ones, working with people, the wrong people, the right people, and etc. So I wanted to make something that works how trading actually is. Okay, even in institutional money, some of my institutional friends, institutional firms do take losses. If some of you are scientists of the market or students of the market, then you remember stuff like GameStop, when, you know, certain companies took massive losses in the billions or millions, hundreds of millions, because of what we call the buy squeeze, where the price just kept on going, even though, you know, it was supposed to be a sell. So things like that. So I wanted to make a natural system. And as you can see so far, from right here, we're on the 12th, and I started this off at the 1st. So we're about 22 days in. So even if you are funded and you adjusted the settings slightly, you would have passed your challenge on the 9th or the 16th day, or you would have at least had profit. If you were a normal trader right now, you'd be at 17%. And of course, you can switch this off. All right. You can, if you had £10,000 in your account that you wanted to trade with, yep, you would have had 22,000. I mean, excuse me, the numbers are going. I'm very tired, but let's repeat that. So you would have had 12,245. So that's 22% right there. And I believe that that may be the peak of the results, but we'll see anyway. So again, coming back to where we were, we had a few losses and then we had some massive gains come straight back in. Okay. Now the risk to reward settings I have on here are for 1 to 5. It goes from, now personally for me, one of my mentors who is a millionaire now, and he taught me a lot about risk management. He used to say this phrase that the 5% a day keeps the 9 to 5 away. And he was talking about risk management, that if you're going to allow the market to potentially take 1% of your money, then the aim at minimum is to at least have 5%, created as a return or take profit in essence. So this is the kind of aim we go for with the robot, and it's looking really good. So even though there's one loss, every gain that hits the take profit, you can see there's a lot more gain that happens there. So finishing off, all right, we have 2 more losses. We have these 2 losses here. Now over here, you notice that with this last trade, it says close at stop. Now I'm glad it happened the way it did because it worked out well for the video. I actually didn't plan this video. I guess you can tell by now. I'm just having a chat with you guys. But if you look at what we have here, where it says close at stop is one of the amazing features that I wanted to design with this algorithm, which is when you get into a certain amount of profits, now it's predefined, but you can change it. I think for this one, if you get into 20 pips of profit for this test run, it will automatically lock in profit for you or drag your stop loss to break even. And then you can set on a trailing stop to continue that if you would like. Now, in this case, I had some similar settings, and just to prove what I'm saying is the truth, you can see that the take profit says 88,704, and the stop loss was 89,904. So the stop loss, the risk to reward here is about 1 to 5 approximately, because you can see here from the stop loss to take profit distance, we're looking at about 100 pips, something of that sort. Now, the price of the entry is 89,228. Okay, so 89,228. You have your stop loss at 89,904. Okay, if you do the maths on that, what that means is that from the entry, the stop loss was dragged 20 pips below the actual price of entry, which means 20 pips of profit was locked in. Now, the take profit was still quite far away, but the robot noticed that it's probably not going to reach that target. So what it did is, of course, drag the stop loss, and you can see we have £298.65 or dollars in profit. Now, forgive my Britishness, I'm from the UK, so money in my head is pounds or Bitcoin. That's the 2 currencies in my head. All right. So this is kind of the review of the balance here. Now, if you want to look at the results in more detail, you can go over the graph here. You can see the graph in graphical form. So for those of you who haven't backtested before, those of you who are aspiring traders or people who want to get into algorithmic trading, now I will be creating courses on how to develop algorithms and high-speed algorithm trading. And I wanted to spend a lot of time building the value first before I deliver anything. So you will be seeing things from me pretty soon. But for the meantime, anyway, if you look at the balance here, you can see the progression of the balance. Now, one thing I really do love about strategy is that it also shows the equity. So you can see in terms of what I would call the span between, or the distance between balance and equity, you can see that it's quite tight. You do have some peaks here where the balance and the actual equity is far apart, but most times the balance and equity stays quite close together, which what that translates to mean is that the robot doesn't lose the profit that it makes, or doesn't. There's 2 options. Now, this is not just for my robot. If you're looking at any other backtesting, or you're backtesting a strategy or a robot, then this is something to look out for. In a good strategy, in a sound strategy, of course, you want to see upward progression, which means you're making profit. But another thing that's very important, and I always look for, is that you also want to make sure that the span or the distance between the actual equity of the account, and the equity means the running profit, it means unrealized profit. So let's say your account over here, if I hover over this, for example, we were at, over here, the balance was at a loss of 9,726, and the equity was the same. Now, when we get up here, we had a balance of 10,280, which means profit was secured. However, the equity was 10,530. So there was another $250 on the float that didn't get realized, or the trades were not closed yet. Okay, and as you can see, the actual real balance the next moment after, a few days after, was still negative. All right, after that. And then you can see we have a massive jump in profit as the robot gets his groove on and the strategy starts to work. And you can see here, the balance and equity is at the same line, which means the take profit has been hit. So with strategies, when you're seeing that the equity is very far away from the balance, it means that the robot is creating profit but not locking it in. And that was one of the problems I had just even as a normal trader manually. It was difficult for me to, sometimes I'll have some really great profit. I've maybe even done 100% on my account, but when it comes to locking in the profit, I maybe only get about half of that or less because I didn't have the right systems to be able to lock the profit in, in terms of my trading strategy from a mental point of view, okay? And from a psychological point of view. So you can see here, we have these moments here where the span between the balance and the equity is pretty close. All right, now with the report, okay, you can see the consecutive losses here lets you know. And one thing I do want to note out in terms of risk management, another thing that I look for with strategy testing and back testing algorithms, and especially the one that I built, we have here over here, we have minus 1,014 and 71 over here. And then we have consecutive wins, which is 1,667. So you see that for the consecutive wins compared to the consecutive losses, it takes a lot less wins, okay, for you to be profitable. If you were to do an average between these two, all right, I can do this on a calculator just to show you what I'm talking about. So I'll pull one up just for proof, because one of the most important things about trading is to show the proof of what you do. Now, if I pull this up and I share my full screen for a moment, you'll see this. So we have a net profit of consecutive wins, which was just 3 consecutive wins of 1,667 point. Now, I think I really like the 5 figures, but just put this back to 4 as it is. So we have $1,667.54 to be exact. And then from the consecutive losses, which were 8, we have minus 1,014 and 71. So if I do this 1,014 and 71, you see here that we have 652 net gain in profit. Now, this is a net positive number. This doesn't mean that's how much profit you're going to make. But what that does mean is that in terms of risk to reward, okay, the risk management is well balanced. And this is something for you to calculate and look for when you're strategy testing yourself. But one of the things that is clear here is that it takes the risk to reward is positive. Now, I've seen some robots in some trading where people are risking 4 to 1 in the opposite direction. So what do I mean by that? So for example, you have $1,000 account and you're risking, for example, $40 to make $10. Well, that risk to reward is negative because you're allowing the market to potentially take $40 from you just for you to make $10, which is not good. And so this is, some of the foundational concepts, even as a manual trader, for those of you who prefer to trade manually or you're mixed, whichever, is important to pay attention to, which is to always make sure that you're always making more than you're risking. Otherwise, it's not an investment, okay? So you can see here that we're net positive. It only takes 3 trades. So if you wanted to say this in another way, all right, if we had 8 consecutive losses, all right, let's do the maths here. I'm going to do this in front of you guys so you can see it. If we divide this by 3, okay, so each trade produced about $500. So if we times that by 2, okay, we got 1,114. So in essence, for us to swallow up all of these losses, if the robot performed that, it would only actually take 2 trades. Okay, and that is exactly what I was looking for and why I took a long time in the development phase of coding this before I moved into the production phase. Okay, now I'm happy that I've written this myself. I write all of the code that I deliver myself. If you check on GitHub, you'll see the repository. I have a few things in there for you guys to use and tools that I use with code and comments on there. So you know what I'm writing and why I wrote what I wrote, what the variables are, and etc. So this is really the robot. Now the gross profit is 5,443. So these are all the gains that were made. The gross loss is minus 3,596. All right. So total net profit is 18,446. Sorry. Let's do this again. 1,846 and 9p or $9.09, excuse me. All right. Profit factor is 1.51, which is good. All right. Absolute drawdown, which is an important figure as well, is really just less than 3%, right? Which is exactly what I'm looking for. The absolute drawdown, that the maximum I was looking for was about 3 to 4%. Anything more than that would have been a bit of a worry, okay? So in essence, one of the things as well that I do want to note as well is that the modeling quality is at 90%. And what that really means, if I go to the settings here, is that when it comes to the different ways to model or to test your algorithm or test a strategy, there are three. You have control points, which is very crude, based on the nearest less time frame. The results must not be considered. And then you have open prices only, which is the fastest method to analyze the bar just completed, only for EAs that explicitly control bar opening. Okay, so in essence, the bar open, or for those of you who are more advanced, the eye candle in the array of candles, an EA that controls that looks at opening prices is what you may use that for, but it wouldn't be accurate, especially the middle one. All right. So in terms of price modeling, which is something that institutions do, and one of my good friends, I won't name his name on here, who works at JP Morgan, and another one of my friends who's ex JP Morgan and now he works at independent hedge fund, one of the most important things that they do is data modeling. So the modeling, the higher you can mimic the market and work out scenarios in the past using volume and data and all different types of figures to produce or reenact the market, the better your results will be. And so this is why, as a strategy tester, always make sure that, you know, when it comes to EAs, that you focus on making sure that you have an EA that is modeled and checked on every tick, okay, which means every new price that comes into the price view from a broker. All right. Now, this was a short video. I'll be doing many more, but I wanted to bring you something different. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Now, before I go, I am creating what I call the algorithmic mastermind group. I have a few of my existing trading students in there, and I'm opening it to a small amount of people, maximum around about possibly 25 people, who will get access to not just this robot, but all of my robots for life that I develop and all the development team of the WGA Academy bring. And what we want to do is create a community of people who benefit from the robot, who have access to our robots to gain profit, to have a better life, but they also have the opportunity to be in a community, and we can actually grow a community for a safe space. For me, my angle, if you want to know what does Michael do or what is his vision in trading, my vision of trading is to bring integrity to the market, bring safety, and allow as many people to have solutions from a very important market and the largest market in the world, which is Forex in terms of financial markets, and be able to encourage, inspire the next generation of people, give people the opportunity to have employment, just to really open up this one skill called trading into the many streams that it can do with clean integrity and high quality excellence. So that's really what I'm trying to do. If you want to be a part of that community, at the moment, I'm sitting, at the time of this video, I have a core group of about 10. I extended it to 25 because I'm getting requests. I think right now I'm looking at around about 11 people in, and then another 14 spaces left. If you want to get involved, just drop me a message. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'll put my description in the bio. Send me a message, leave a message in the comments or something. And yeah, let's connect. So I'll catch you guys later on. I hope you enjoyed this video. Everybody take care and have a great day.